Hello, my friends. Let's have a little trash talk today. Hello, all of my trashy friends. This is Noelle at Pretty Sassy Creations, and I wanted to show you a magazine that I received in the mail. This is something I did a year subscription. I won't do it again. It's a great magazine, but for the price, I just feel like it's not that great. But it does have some cool images. And plus, the reason I said trashy friends is I want to talk a little bit about trash. So, first of all, I want to do a quick flip through of the flow trip for you guys so you can just see what it's about. And, they have some of these nice words and stuff and images that you can use in your trash. But yeah, and it's nice, thick pages. And yeah, there was a couple things in here that I really liked. But like I said, again, even though I'm showing you this price point, I love this radio. So when I do clock radio, when I do another bigger journal like the Freedom Journal, I definitely want to cut this out and use that. But yeah, it's just got some quirky type things in here, and just thought you'd like to see some of it. I am going kind of quickly just because I don't want to bore you if you don't want to see this part. But they are definitely focusing on the aura, which I believe is this ring. But like I said, the images, a lot of them are very vibrant and fun to use in your glue books or your trash journals. I love the vintage of that. But there's some words. Let's see. This can often get interpreted by the the Flow magazine, which comes out monthly or bi-monthly. I think that you can get at Barnes and Noble. Never got into the Alice in Wonderland. So that is the Flow Trip magazine if you are interested. Next up, I'd like to talk about trash. A lot of people will say or ask, don't have any of this stuff. And to be honest with you, if you're doing a trash style journal, I mean, trash is in the eye of the beholder. But I feel like if you're going to do a true kind of trash, you do have everything, because you rely on junk mail, you rely on ads, you rely on maybe magazines that you get in the store, or business cards, packaging from orders that you receive. So like here is these are junk mail envelopes, every one of them. And all I've done is open them up and coffee dyed them. And I could easily make a junk journal just out of these envelopes alone. And that would be so fun. And it's on the list. Also, any packaging you have, from food, sheets, clothing, animal stuff, or whatever. This is going to make a great cover. As you know, I do the Trashy and Flowish junk journal group. And right now, our swap is a trash journal. So I'm just going ahead and cutting this. I'm not being precise. I'm just using scissors, which everybody has. And this is going to be my cover. And it's really that simple. Will I decorate it? Probably. Will I use paint? Maybe. But again, you don't have to. You have food coloring, you have coffee, use that. There's no rules. The only rules you make are the rules for yourself. So, and this one is a bound journal. So I'm going to use dental floss. I used that in my last, what is it? My gosh, my whatever journal, and it works great. So I have it here somewhere, and I'll use that. So, or embroidery floss, or whatever you have. You got thread, use that. I cut this out. I'm going to use that just so I can make the spine sturdier. And right there, I have my cover. So then you're like, okay, now what do I add to a trash journal? How about some packaging? We probably all have this Amazon packaging coming out the wahoo. I know I do, or any packaging. How about brown paper bags? This is another good idea for a cover, but I have, here's some parchment, a piece of paper I've had. I'm just looking here. Things people have sent me, an old pattern. Let's see, what else do I have? I know I have a container. Here's some things that I have that are just, I can pull from. These are fun to put in and just, I don't know, add it, color it, add a pocket. Here's another bag. That could be a little pocket. It's endless. It is completely endless. An envelope from junk, old paper. This was from our library. I'm not sure what that is, but there's just all kinds of stuff. There's an order I had that I coffee dyed. Yeah, so always check, think of things in a different light. Like that's trash. Yeah, it is. Use it because here's a map from a walk that my husband and I did. I don't need it anymore. All kinds of just stuff. So that's how you would build your signatures. And I do like to always, I'm just going to see, here's a chewy one. I do like to add these in. This is where I would put the signature and I would sew it in right here. And then I have this flip, open flip where I can create on. And then, I myself, I don't use a lot of the original images like this, for instance. I'm sure I will paint over it or collage over it and make it a little bit more appealing to the eye. That's my take. That's what I like to do. Some people like to leave it in its original form, and there's nothing wrong with that either. A great place to get resources is your local library. I know ours has always a shelf with free items on them. And these are where these came from. And you have some great, look at this. Such cool images found at my local library that I can cut out and use, and maybe even use some of these as pages. So we have that. National Geographic is another great one for some beautiful imagery. There's another one with all different kinds of things to look at and people and all of that stuff. And this one I just love because it's the Gamecocks and it says cocky, and I think that's funny. So that's definitely going to go in a journal. So yeah, and that was at the library. When I did my solo trip up north, I stopped into the travel centers. Let's see, I think I was in Georgia, North Carolina, of course, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and New York. Was I in Virginia? I don't know. But anyhow, so they have these, and again, great images, some great words to have on hand for your journaling. Now, I'm not saying go crazy and take everything they have, be considerate, but these are available. This came in the mail, and it's Life Connections. It's got some stuff. Not that one, that's disgusting. But maybe if I don't use this as for images, I could always use this as a glue book. I keep saying I want to do a glue book. I've cut out all the stuff. This isn't a huge commitment, so maybe I'll just do this as a glue book. Another thing at the library, that they have books for, I think the kids' books are like 50 cents. And talk about some great images. Now, this is from Vittoria Bascini. I don't know, is an Italian artist and author, and it's a little bit different than things that we would probably normally do, but I loved it. But look at just right here, you have a great tag you can make by cutting this out, and we're keeping them from going in the trash. Okay, so translated from Italian by Anna Salata. I'm probably totally tearing up her name. But this is about cherries, and it's fun. It's a little quirky, but I thought it was fun. And yeah, so don't forget about library books. And look at this. Look at that. That would be a great background, or even a page in a journal. I just wanted to show you a couple more here that I received. I think this rabbit is just funny. I think all he's looking for is cake or bread or something, but you have, again, some images. This would make a great pocket. I don't know if you can see where I'm talking about, but right in there. And some awesome colors. So maybe he's finding berries. I thought he was finding it. I think he's finding berries for the cake. And just let you know, he's not lost, but I think he is. Okay, one more book that I really liked was this one. I just think these images are awesome, and they would make great journaling cards if you back them with, maybe some of your, what do I do with it? The packing paper. And, back that, glue it, and you have a writing spot. So that's fun. And I just think that they just make me smile. They really just do. Here is, again, I've got this greeting card. I went to a place, and yes, I did spend a little bit of money on some things, but we all have greeting cards at home, I'm sure, that if we're not that nostalgic anymore. We don't keep every single thing. You can use those to make a little mini journal even. But like, I just love this one, and that's why I picked it up, because of the orange and pink, because of doing my orange and pink journal, which I will be doing very shortly. Well, I say that. Yeah, I say that all the time. We all know. You guys know me by now. We don't know when shortly is. But I opened it up and I'm like, this is so cute. Look, it's me and my brother and our dog that they said went to the farm, but we don't know. And then I look and it says, love from mother and daddy. Guess who rules the house there, I bet? Mother. Why wouldn't it be mommy and daddy? Why is it mother and daddy? So, yeah, we know who runs the show there. Okay, what else do I have here? Some old Reader's Digests. Found these at a place. They were 4 for $1. And if anything, I just like the old, the advertisements. Let's see, I'm looking for that one. Like, look at that little girl. How cute. I had a bathing suit like that. And I do like to look for the years to try and get them as close to, like this one I was 12, and just see, what I remember and things. So that's a little nostalgic for me. And then I had bought some things from Ranger, and it came in this envelope. I'm like, what can I do with this? So I made a little storage pouch. I know. I don't know what I'm going to put in it, but there's one there, and there's a deeper one there, and then a deeper one there. So I can put goodies. Maybe it'll be my travel thing for when I cut things out. I don't know. But then let's see. You can put painty papers in. This was something, as I'm tearing out magazines, I was throwing out, just magazines. And I'm looking at the way I'm like folding them up to throw them out. And I'm like, hey, that's kind of cool. Like, you could almost, let me grab my whatever journal. You could almost do like a page of these and could be little tucks. See? You could even take some of your painting papers that you're like, don't really love it, but I don't really want to get rid of it either. And look there's a pocket. So I thought that was kind of fun and not really genius, but we all have those pages, that we don't get. Like, I hate that. Like, I just don't like that at all. So why not just, I don't know, go like this and have a couple tucks, have a pocket tuck. I don't know. Just do you. Okay? You see what I'm saying. Not everything I'm saying I'm saying everything can be used in a trash. See, look, I might do that. I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not working on this one today, but I'm going to stick it in there for when I do. Okay, so that was that. I wanted to show you. Another thing I do a lot of times when I come in here and I'm like, what can I do to get my mojo running? And what I do is I'll pick up this bin and I will go through it. Some of this stuff is Happy Mail that I've received, and some of it is back here. I don't know how well you can see. This is trash. This is just plain old everyday trash. So to get moving, gosh, I keep hitting that. To keep going, I'll grab a piece of trash like that. That's all ready to go to me. That's a pocket. So you know what? I'm going to move that into my completed. Okay, here's another one. It's completed. I have a pocket. Let me move this out of the way. But usually I'll pick from there and I'll make something for my trash journal. And then I put it in here. So I always have things ready to go. Like, here's some hearts from Collage. I always have things to go to put in my trash journal, like Skittles. Like, that can be a tag. I'll put a topper on it. I've already, put paper behind it. Look at this guy showing off his shoes. Journaling card. Winning flavors. This is just using junk mail. And then on the back, I put something there. So this way, I always have things ready for a junk journal. I made up a ton of these. Are just pockets from a magazine that you can place in a journal. Again, I always back my things because I don't know what I'm going to use them for, but especially this kind of material, because it's whether you glue it down or tape it down. If you're gluing this kind of material or taping, it can be difficult to stay down. Sometimes it wants to always come up. So I do always back it with paper and sew it. You don't have to. You can use double-sided tape. You can use glue. That's just my preference. Here was a plastic bag that I just made a page trim edge thingy. Little shaker. Here's a map I had. And I will probably glue that and make that a pocket. So you can just see there's all kinds of things. And if you don't know what you want to do, excuse me, my goodness, come in and grab some of your junk and get playing. It's fun. And you know, you really can't make any mistakes when you're doing this. So that is what I wanted to tell you today. Here's another super fun, quick envelope to make. I should make some more of those. I think that's the only one I have. These pads of papers you get for the kitchen, bougie them up a little bit. Put them on the back of something. This was a really pretty image I found, and on the back I put one of those pieces of paper. So there you go. And these make great if you have a big journal. My gosh, could I be any closer? Holy cow. I am so sorry. But these make great journaling cards as well. So I hope this helped inspire you, if even a little bit. I would appreciate if you watch my videos, if you subscribe and give me a thumbs up and tell your friends how awesome I am. That would be great. One more thing I wanted to show you before I quit the video. Let me grab, let's grab this one. Is if you have one of these acrylic blocks and you're not sure if you like an image or not, you know, take it around and see what you like, because that'll show you the whole, if you know, things that you might want to cut out and use. Let's see, that's pretty dark. Get over there. Like, and if it's real busy, if it's a real busy page, that's what kind of what I'm looking for. Like right here, you know, you can just kind of get a little image of what something is going to look like without looking at the whole picture. So there you go. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.